Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the Rangers Rabble Match Reaction podcast for our away trip to St Johnstone. 2-1 victory. I'd love to say it was comfortable, but wasn't quite. I'm joined by JD and John at Albert's UK. Guys, how are you?
Good.
Not bad. Yeah, good after that. Just
Yes.
Happy with the result, but we'll pick the performance apart.
Yeah.
Right, we'll just get right into it. There's a couple of other things that I'll bring up as we're going, but we'll just get right into it. So the team sheet came out, as usual, about an hour before kickoff, and the big surprise was there was no Connor Goldson. We later found out through Gerrard's pre-match interview that he was isolating, but as we were just talking about off-screen, we have discovered there might, or we think we're speculating there might be a little bit more to it, JD. The gaffer, again, he said he was isolating, but he doesn't know when he's going to be back. Did you find that a bit strange?
Yeah, I know. I think, I don't know now. Isolating, what is he? 10, well, okay, it could be 10 days or whatever, but get your a negative test and then he's fine, but that's weird. I don't know if maybe we've said he's isolating, maybe he's got COVID, but then we won't know when he's back because he might be unfit, whatever, but yeah, and then I said to you there, maybe there's an injury involved here, but it's just, I know we're not going to start, but it's just all cloudy and smoking cloaks and daggers because he's not signing his contract. It's just a bit odd. Just a bit odd there, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I thought before we found out he was isolating. The first thing I thought when I saw his name wasn't on the team sheet or even on the bench was, has this got something to do with his contract? But John, as we spoke about there, you know, these days the rules are as clear as mud to the likes of us, but when you are a football club the size of Rangers and you're employing people to know the rules, full-time employees to know the rules, is it a bit strange that the man at the top of that football club, the football side of it, doesn't know when one of his star players is going to be back, if it's not a positive test, if it's just isolation?
Yeah, if it's isolation, but does it count that he's in a bubble? Does it count whether he's been double jabbed? And ultimately as well, does he maybe just not want to give anything away before the game on Thursday night? Because he may be saying today, if he says today, look, he's back or he's not back, then that's a definitive. So why not keep your cards close to your chest and just play the I don't know when he'll be back? Or else it could be a Jordan Rossiter 7 to 10 days away. We just don't know.
I'm pretty sure Mark Warburton's still saying that somewhere. You're right. He might be playing his cards close to his chest ahead of the Lyon game on Thursday night. Yeah. We just don't know. It was a bit of a strange comment to make in his post-match and Gerrard's post-match interview. Going into the game, other than that, guys, the starting lineup, was it as you expected, John? Was that the strongest team we had available?
No, because I'm always nervous when we don't start with McGregor and goals. I think it sends a message out, especially away from home. Nothing against McLaughlin, but it sends a message out that maybe we're not taking this match quite as seriously, or we've got an eye on another game. And that sends a message out to the opposition that maybe we're just not quite on it, or maybe just not up for it today. And that always makes me nervous. You know, because 7 or 8 of that team were the same team that played up at Tannadice. Yeah. So I believe keep your goalkeeper, keep your centre halves if you can, and get a good solid back line, and then you can maybe chop and change your midfielder or forward, because that's where we've got the quality. That's where we've got the quality, midfield to front. I think we're pretty threadbare at the back. I think we've got to pick our best back four and stick to it, and our best goalkeeper and stick to it.
I agree, John. I know we've done this at the start of last season. Like McLaughlin played the first 10 or 11 games, but I think after the way McGregor finished the season and the way he's going to be, I don't know. I'm not throwing a cat amongst the pigeons here, but I don't know. Are they seeing something we're not? Is McGregor is this maybe a year too far? Like, I don't know. It's a weird one. Why he's not just playing him? Because for me as well, but nothing against McLaughlin at all, but we just seem shakier when McGregor, and that might just be a subconscious thing, but we do seem a bit shaky, and I thought we were a bit. Well, obviously with Goldson not playing, I would definitely then have wanted McGregor in there to be the organiser, because I think Big Phil, as you've seen, struggled today big time, which was surprising. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen McGregor in there 100%.
Yeah, I've certainly not got the confidence in the back line when Goldson's no there, and you know, I'm a critic of Goldson at times. I think the first I knew McGregor wasn't playing. I was just left my work this morning, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody put it in the group chat. McGregor on the bench, and my instinct reaction was to think, Gerrard's giving McCrory a chance. Fair play, deserves it. And then when I saw the team sheet and it was McLaughlin that was starting, I was like, there's something else that, and I'm the same as you, JD. I think maybe as Gerrard and McAllister and Beale, are they seeing something that we're not? And as Fogdog quite rightly says, you don't mind changes at home, certainly not away from home. I would say certainly not away from home in that kind of a game. We know St Johnstone are a threat. We know they're pacey going forward, as we'll get to. It was a strange one, but you know.
Can I just come in on that?
Yeah, of course.
Can I just come in on that? A few weeks ago, Gerrard said that they have to manage McGregor's situation, after a match at a press conference. And when McGregor was asked about it, how does he find this swapping and chopping and changing? McGregor looked surprised that the manager had said we need to manage McGregor for matches. So I don't know if maybe it might be an age thing, like JD said. It might be just one season too many. But McGregor certainly doesn't want to be dropped from the team. I'd be happy being out of the team. So it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, and
they're not quite on the same page.
Yeah, it is weird, but I'm sure I've got every faith in Gerrard that he'll do the best for the side, and he'll get to the bottom of it. Just the last couple of things on the starting lineup for me, even the squad. I wasn't shocked to see Bakuna not get a mention. As Fogdog said, you don't mind changes at home, and I think we'll see Bakuna in a Rangers jersey at Ibrox before we see him anywhere else. And there's a chance for that to happen coming up, as we'll talk about as well. And I think the last one that people might have had a question mark over was the Barisic situation. JD, was it simply a case of Barisic coming back from injury? He's been away with his national team. He'd done really well, but trying to manage his game time at this point.
Perhaps, but I thought he's on a bit of a crest of a wave. He's not been playing well in the Catalyst and the Celtic game. Geeing the fans up, putting the ball in, and then going away with his country. Whether he got man of the match or not, he was certainly, the ratings came out that he was probably the best player in the park in that game. So I thought he was a stonewall certainty to start today, and he didn't. I thought Bassey started well when he first knocked the ball past Rooney. He took him on. He had him on toast for pace, and I just thought, this okay. Barisic isn't starting, but that sets the tone for the day. But just didn't work out for the big man after that, to be honest, I don't think. But I was surprised Barisic didn't start, to be fair. But then we've got a big game coming on Thursday, which 100% is going to start.
I think the thing with Bassey as well, I can't remember who said it on the Thursday pod this week. Somebody said it's going to be horses for courses. And I, like you, that first challenge with Rooney, I wrote it down in my notes. Bassey's playing because of the physical challenge. I'm not saying Barisic isn't physical, but Bassey looks bigger than Barisic. With Rooney, and when he, that first challenge and he beat him, I thought, what a master stroke for Gerrard. But John, after that, it just really didn't work out for Bassey, did it?
No, and they seemed to make a switch because they called over a player, one of their players, and then there was certainly a signal went to Rooney, who, I don't know, he just had one hell of a game, I thought, playing down that right wing. So they made a wee tactical change just about midway through the first half. I think it maybe told Rooney not to bother chasing back, not to bother matching Bassey in a defensive sense. Just stay forward and stay high up the pitch, and it sort of stifled Bassey. Maybe just by not doing much, they took away what a threat from us today. They certainly did make a change in the first half.
Yeah, I think they done that right after Bassey basically done him. Yeah. And I think they went like, right, okay, this might not work if we just pushed him on a wee bit, but yeah.
Just want to say a big welcome to everybody in the comments, everybody that's watching live. Keep your questions coming in. We'll try and get through as much of them as possible. Keep your comments coming in. You obviously know you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you get your social media. We're also on Patreon, of course, and there's loads of content coming your way on Patreon. We're trying to put out 4 or 5 shows a week. It's £2 a month. If you can spare it, if you love the content, please sign up to the Rangers Rabble on Patreon. Support our podcast, support the Rangers Youth Development Company as the Rangers Rabble are doing. And hopefully we can go from strength to strength and you'll enjoy even more of the content that we've got. But as far as this pod's concerned, keep your questions and your comments coming in. So moving on to the game a little bit, I'll be honest, I never wrote a great deal down in the first half. We spoke about Goldson missing there, and we're playing an unusual partnership. And back in St Johnstone, tried this through ball over the top thing early on. John McLaughlin came out and got booked. John, did McLaughlin need to come off his line, or do you think it was covered?
No, I thought it was covered because he was certainly at an angle far enough from goal and going wide. And I wasn't nervous when he came off his line, because until he hesitated, he seemed to come for it, hesitate slightly, and then allow O'Halloran to nip in. And I just wish he'd showed that sort of forward play when he played for us. Yeah. I just, and I thought, we'll get booked for that. I didn't think it was a sending off or anything, because he made an attempt to play the ball.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was nervous when I saw him come off his line, and when I heard the whistle go, I was convinced it was a red card. But I'm the same as you. I think he was at an angle where he was going to get forced away for goal. And McLaughlin didn't it. He may have saw it differently. Of course, he's a professional. He's in a different position than we are. He may have saw it differently, but you said you weren't nervous. I crapped myself when I saw him come off the line. And of course, St Johnstone, I will just mention their goal now, JD. St Johnstone obviously saw this as an opportunity. They tried it again early on in the second half, and okay, Helander didn't help. He was off feet at the time, but they got their goal from it. So, JD, they obviously saw this as a threat, didn't they?
Yeah, I think we looked a bit shaky. We've been saying it all year or all season. Helander's our best defender, but I think it's kind of proven today that Goldson might be the kind of glue that holds it all together. And the kind of Goldson and McGregor perhaps, but we looked very shaky today, and that was just a long ball, man. St Johnstone were stifled as that whole first half. They were not interested. St Johnstone were playing today for a 0-0. And the comment there as well, Tav was again at the start of the game. You could probably get through a lot of people here. Tav didn't look. He looked a couple of passes were all over the place. But that's why I brought that comment up. Gone rogue. You could say that about anyone in your team in the first half. We weren't at it in the first half at all. I don't think there was no killer instinct. There was no spark. There was no rush to get anything done. We were clearly the better team, but we seemed happy to almost be patient. And history will tell you, when you sit in and try and be patient at Rangers, there are a lot of Rangers supporters in the crowd, regardless of what stadium you're at, who got awfully impatient and awfully nervous, Alberts. It wasn't a first half that I expected for a Rangers team, did you?
No, I know, but saying that though, during the first half, we had one shot at goal, we had 80% possession. I was waiting on us winning the possession trophy at half time, because I kept listening for a helicopter, because apparently you win cups if you've got possession. So I wasn't worried at all. I was a wee dig at them, of course, but no, we weren't clinical enough. I seen at half time, I thought, this is Tannadice all over again. I just thought, this is Tannadice all over again, unless we get the finger. And when we went a goal behind, I wasn't convinced we were going to bring it back.
I was going to admit I was having flashbacks to Tannadice. The one point for the first half that I've got to bring up, I had a note of it to bring up just in case Ross was on the pod anyway, but he's not. Roof's shot and the save by Xander Clark. It was probably the highlight of the first half from a Rangers point of view.
Was it not, man?
It was 100% for the cameras, but he done well to get to it. I thought Roof done fantastic to shoot the shot off. Managed to knock it away for his defender. But unfortunately, that was it in the first half for me. Unless you guys know anything different.
The only other thing in that first half, it's just the way that St Johnstone came to the game. They came to draw 0-0, maybe try and nick something, and it did work for them nearly.
Yeah.
But then I love just seeing the second half, them running about, trying to get quick long throw-ins, taking defenders off, putting strikers on. See today, see if St Johnstone came to have a go at Rangers, they perhaps could have got something out of us, because we weren't at the races at some points in this game. Yeah. But they get whatever they deserve. They're like the new Motherwell now.
Yeah. And Motherwell in a team that will do exactly the same as at Fir Park. They'll sit in and look for nothing. Just an interesting.
Look for nothing says it all.
Look for nothing. Look for nothing. Just an interesting comment coming in there. No Simpson in the European squad. Bassey at centre back if Goldson is out. Bassey at centre back if Goldson and Helander are out. Yeah.
Where do you even go with that? that becomes a really big mistake by Gerrard from not having cover in centre half, because I know we've been sitting here saying, "Oh, Bassey could eventually play there." Maybe it's just because he'd never played too well the day that we're all starting to worry. If he played well, I'd be singing his praises because I do like him, but that's a bit of a bad one if Goldson can't make Thursday, because that's now we're having to then put him in.
Yeah. With our centre back pairing, if those two are out injured, could very well be Bassey and Balogun. Leon King, I would imagine, would get called up for the B team, but it's an interesting prospect. So let's hope Goldson and Helander are both available, but at the very least, one of them is going to be available. Going into the second half, we opened up and we've done what we've done before. We've done it in both European ties this season. We've opened up and we have been sloppy. There was a bit of miscommunication. McLaughlin was well off his line. I know we dealt with it fairly well, but that moment of not talking to each other again, is this a problem? It must be a problem, John, that Gerrard's got to address about how we come out in the second half. And I would imagine he spoke about it, but how does he get that message across? How does he get our players, to switch on when the referee blows that whistle to start the second half? Because we're going to get punished if we don't start doing it.
Yeah, I think we've got to tell our players we're a goal down before we start. The first half, I think leaving it at half time we're dangerously close to becoming a cropper again. This is like Malmo second half all over again. But we weren't even at the races until they scored. So no matter what Gerrard said, it wasn't working. And when McLaughlin comes off his line, I was nervous. With McGregor, he stays in his line, but he brings a calmness of it. But I was nervous right at the start of the second half when he did come off his line. I thought, here we go again. Yeah, I mean, it's just a real nervousness about the ball over the top and behind us. Teams don't play through us. Teams don't outpass us in midfield and knock it in behind. It's a big, long sweeping ball every time. Just about it catches us out. Getting our defenders turned is murder.
There was too many as well. St Johnstone weren't clinical enough because there was too many opportunities probably coming down Bassey's side and cutbacks. I think Ali Crawford put one over the bar. Then they had another one that I think deflected off Davis, maybe went over the bar. Like, this all happened within the space of a 5 or 6 minute period. So that was a bit worrying that people are getting in behind us and even cutting it back at times. Other teams would have been more clinical with that, and we could have conceded 2 or 3, but we turned it around. So we got the 3. It feels like we're sitting here talking about a defeat. It wasn't that good a performance, but listen, Gerrard said that in his interview there. We've found a way to win, and we've seen it for years and years and years. Other teams winning the league, and I used to sit and watch their games and get to 95 minutes and they'd score, and you'd be like, "What? We're now doing that." So,
listen, we're the team with target on our backs this season. So teams are going to play like that against us, and I'm quite pleased to hear Gerrard say we found a way to win these games, because we're going to have to, because that's the way I would expect a lot of teams to set up against us, particularly away from home. And you're right, we are sitting here like we're talking about a defeat. We're going to come to the more positive stuff, I promise. But one last thing for going rogue before we do. Alfie seems way off the pace. Thoughts? I wouldn't say way off the pace, but he certainly wasn't at the races today.
It was a tough one, wasn't it, for him? It was. Nothing was on. Nothing was on. I don't like. He done a lot. He still comes deep and knocks the ball out and stuff, and that's obviously our game plan these days. So it's not the 35 goal we're going to expect from him, but I do think it was maybe a wee bit. I don't know what you think, John.
He had one shot at goal. It was deflected. That was it. My note was just not his best game, because he just wasn't at the races today. Just maybe coming back from his long trip and maybe his pre-season's just really kicking in now. But I think I'm kind of glad the day that we won and Alfie didn't play well, because I think he'll bring something on Thursday. I think this is where he'll come alive on Thursday. The big stage.
Well, that brings me to my next sort of question on it, John. Alfie loves European stage, and at Ibrox against anybody, regardless of who it is, he's going to have more room, bigger pitch, wider area. Is playing Kent Morelos and Roof away from home on tight pitches where teams are boxed in against us, we're not getting a lot of room. Is that our best formation away from home? Clearly Gerrard thinks it does, but are we at our most threatening is what I want to ask you away from home with that formation or that lineup?
No, I don't think so. I think you've got to drop one of them. I don't think you can play all three. I think you really miss out on somebody like Hadji who can thread a pass, or I think we're quite defensive to front, and I don't think there's enough in midfield when we're away from home. When you've got Morelos and Roof on the same side, yeah, I think there's just something lacking in the midfield battle. Yeah, I think three up front like that is just we're front to back, and when you're missing Goldson, you've not got a long range pass either, from your back to get their defenders turning. Because with nobody today could hit a long ball, we'd never once turned their defence, even with a long ball. You'd nobody like Goldson to hit that 50, 60 yarder and get you moving. I mean, there was one chance, I think, in the second half when we were under that pressure. Kent takes it for a run and takes it 50, 60 yards, then has to turn back. I'm not sure if it gets fouled or did it for throwing, can't remember which, but that was...
If it was Kent, he would have got fouled in this game.
It would have been, It was constantly fouled. We should have done it O'Halloran, but they were doing it to Kent.
I would have lost players. Anyway, I'm going to move away from the negative stuff. I want to talk about the positive stuff. Plus, I don't want to slate Alfie at all, because last weekend I made a really bold statement regarding Alfredo Morelos, didn't I, JD? But you have to sign up. You have to sign up that I made my bold statement regarding Alfredo Morelos. But you have to sign up to Patreon if you want to find out what it is. You need to sign up. But it was a bold statement. A positive one, by the way. I wasn't slating him, honestly.
No.
But if you want to find out what it was, get over to Patreon and sign up. So moving on to the positive stuff. 56 minutes, I think it was. I wrote down. Yep. Stupid foul on Kent. And if that had been at the other end of the park, whoever committed that foul, I would have wanted him whipped off right away. He wasn't directly facing goal. He was starting to turn away from goal. And the boy Muller went in and swiped. He might have been trying to win the ball with his leading foot, but his back foot took out Kent's standing leg. Stonewall penalty in front of the referee. Referee had never had an option, so we're not going to discuss was it a soft penalty. Should it have not been a penalty? Would that have been harsh? We're not going to discuss it. It was a Stonewall penalty. Kamar Roof steps up to take it. JD, what was your thought? What did you think when you saw Tav never had that ball?
Yeah, and the manager was asked it in his interview as well. And I wasn't keen on it. Listen, old school, I do not like that run up. I'm just going to moan, right? No. I do not like that run up from Kamar Roof. What is that? What is that all about? Gives me the fear. But he scores it, right? One of the ones, if Big Xander just stands, he's just going to go like that and stop it. However, we score it, who cares? But yeah, I don't know. And that's annoyed me that Tav didn't take it. Now, Gerrard's saying it's up to them. Tav's the captain. See if I've got no issues with that. If Roof takes the ball and says, I want this, and the Tav's went like, do you know what? Maybe I don't feel this today. Because Tav wasn't having his best game. So maybe he's been like, do you know what? Confidence-wise, subconsciously, whatever, take it. So put it away. So
I'll tell you what, sorry, JD, I'll let you go in a minute. But talking about bold statements, CGM, Tav is not a good penalty taker.
CGM, isn't like Morelos, isn't like Tav. Come on.
CGM, he's missed a few, but I wouldn't say he's not a good penalty taker. It was interesting as well, John Gerrard saying it's up to them. Tav's the captain. If he's not feeling up to it, it's his decision. It paid off. Roof scored the penalty. It's a little bit contradictory, though, considering, think back to the League Cup final, Morelos took the penalty, missed it. Yeah. Gerrard was not a happy man after that. So
that only works when you score them. That only works when you score.
Yeah. But anyway,
but what I would say is, if Tav hits the penalty and doesn't score, there's no way he scores that winner. There's no way he scores that winner. So I'm quite glad he never took the penalty. And CGM saying that Tav's not a good penalty taker. Tav scored 66 goals for us.
66.
That's a right back. 66 goals. That's a right back.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of
pens as well, aren't they? A lot
of them would be penalties and free kicks.
Yeah, he has missed a few, but nah, I'm quite happy whoever takes it scores it.
Yeah. RFC 56 says Tav fills me with fear when he's going to hit a penalty. I'm not going to lie. Every time we've got a penalty, it doesn't matter who's taking it. I've got the fear because I always think worst case scenario. Anyway, so we got the equaliser. Was the equaliser coming, JD? Regardless,
I think after the first, once they scored, then I thought we kind of came into the game like Kent going in that big lung buster kind of was a bit of a sign. And he didn't play well again, but the same thing with Kent. He was always trying. He loses the ball, he'll go and get it back. So that breeds confidence a wee bit. So I did think it was kind of coming. I don't know if we would have scored another goal hadn't the captain scored an absolute worldie. I don't know if we would have scored another goal, to be fair, but I did think it was coming. We played a lot better that last 25, half an hour kind of thing.
Yeah, and John, just after the penalty, Liam Craig for St Johnstone. What was he thinking? He was the aggressor in the situation. So yeah, he's tried to take the ball off your roof. There's been a bit of a set to a Rangers player. I didn't even need to look. I knew right away it was Morelos ran to get involved. And I can't remember who the other St Johnstone player was. Was it Rooney? And there was a bit.
Liam Craig.
Was it Liam Craig
as well?
And Rooney, Craig and Rooney. Sorry, yep.
John, it was just a bit daft, wasn't it? Let's face it. There was nothing much in it. It was just a bit of stupidity for Liam Craig that sparked. And then, of course, as soon as he saw Morelos, he thought, "Oh, yeah, beauty," and went to ground. Which I expect that for the type of person, the type of player. Sorry, that Liam Craig is. I don't know what type of person he is, but the type of player Liam Craig is. Personal attack on him.
The guy's brand new.
I expect it. It was just stupidity, wasn't it?
It was, and can I just say to CGM 55, I apologise if he thinks I said Tav scored 66 penalties. It wasn't. It was 66 in total. So just to clear that up, CGM. Yeah, it was handbag stuff. But you know what? That galvanised our side. I thought there was a real togetherness at that when the players get booked, that we were going to stand up for each other and fight for each other. No, literally. But again, I was frightened when I seen the referee pull Morelos over, because I thought, I think if it had been a 1-on-1, it might have been a yellow card for Craig for being a ball bag. And it might have been, but then you're thinking, what's Morelos getting? But the fact that he brought all four over, I thought, all four are getting yellow cards here. That's it. Yeah. It was real handbag stuff. But it was like going back to the days of Easter Road. Our soonest teams were there's a melee and there's players flying in. And to be fair, I thought the referee handled it quite well eventually. Players were being a bit.
Sorry,
I don't think Morelos needs any encouragement to go flying in anyway, does he? But I think he was actually running in, and he was almost like, he wasn't going to punch him, but try to grab the ball, and they kind of hit him, and then he's falling down and rolling about. But I enjoyed that as well, John, because it did look like a bit of a. It almost gave the game a bit of a spark as well.
It did.
It galvanised the team and.
It sparked us into life.
4 yellows, move on, get a grip, brilliant, excellent. Let's keep that going. So it didn't get past.
I agree. I hate getting referees in this country praise, especially Willie Collum. I thought he handled it well. I thought he let it settle down. He called the 4 players away, told everybody else, look, go away. It doesn't concern you. A quick lecture to the 4 of them. And then the 4 bookings, it's no, he wasn't talking to people individually, and I thought he handled the situation quite well. And it let the game go as well, because if you send a player off at that point, the game is a contest kind of. It's not over because it's 1 each, but it's not going to be a great finish to the game. So credit where it's due. I thought he done quite well.
His wee pal linesman in the second half was doing my head in, though, the one out the far side.
Oh, with on the corners.
It made him roll that. Literally, honestly, it was pathetic. And then every time the flag was up, he was loving it. He was loving catching us offside today. That wee guy.
John, just before we come to what is going to be goalie of the month, it better be goalie of the month anyway. Ken, it was quite clear. Somebody said in the comments there, sorry, it's gone rogue again, that Kent had the freedom to move. Wonder if he's been given that freedom by Stevie Gerrard. But it was quite clear that once again a team has set up with their tactics is to kick Ryan Kent off the park.
Yeah, they were taking it in turns today, and I put a wee note down saying that's exactly what we should have done to O'Halloran. We should have just bullied him out of the game, but we didn't. Well, I think we sometimes can be a soft touch. We don't slide into tackles. We don't, we stand up all the time. I suppose we don't have to make tackles a lot, but sometimes you've just got to be physical and just give him give an opposition player a wee marker early on. you know, that you're up for this today, and we didn't. But Kent got some horrendous treatment, especially the tackle. I think it was in the first half at the halfway line, you know, where Gerrard and Callum Davidson were discussing it. You know, there was nothing to discuss. It was a shocking tackle. You know, because he seemed to like scissor him, get him with his leading foot and bring his other leg behind him. And I was like, that's a terrible tackle.
That was it. He gave away the penalty as well. So was that?
He did. Yeah.
Was that a second yellow as well? You could have seen that being a second yellow, swiping the legs away. But I suppose he did go for the ball. But
yeah,
could have been. And again, lastly, before the goal, sorry, because I missed this off my notes. Hellander's injury. We've got, what is it, 20? I nearly say 23 games in 7 days there. Other way around, 7 games in 23 days.
that was when the UEFA Cup final. That was that.
So obviously we've got a huge run of fixtures coming up. JD, we need everybody. So how much do you think we're going to miss Philip Helander?
It's massive. I know we touched on it a minute ago, but in Gerrard's interview at the end as well, they kind of know. And someone put it in the comments earlier on. You seen, or no, it was on Twitter. I seen it. When you see him, he was going for the ball, tackling. It's like a kind of thing. He went right down. He's got his head in his hands. Players know you can. You know when I mean, all points to an ACL, something like that. But you never know. It would probably be a couple of days for the swelling to get down, and then they'll get a scan to tell us. But does not sound good, man. Which is that's a blow, massive. We'll need to go and do something in January if that's the case.
Yeah. I think we will as well. I don't know. There was that many different stories. I don't know if we can recall Niko Katic. I don't know if that's an option.
No, we can. Yeah,
we can. Leon King, as I said. Jack Simpson's he's a backup at best. But yeah, you're right. I think we'll need to go and do something. So, John, just to round off the game, the game notes that I've got, talk us through Tavernier's goal and why it's going to be goalie of the season. Goalie of the month, sorry, goalie of the month. Got ahead of myself.
No, I think it'll be goal of the season as well, because the thing about Tav is a wee sighter just before that. You know, he has one over the bar just a minute or two before that, a couple of minutes before that, where he's obviously thinking, right, I've got the boots on the day, you know. And it was just, it reminded me of his free kick at Tannadice last season, where it seemed to, I know it was a bit more dip on it, but it just seemed to up and down. And I think it was Cole Combs said that it ends up in the middle of the goal. It doesn't hit the roof of the net. It probably goes about, maybe it ends up in the net about 4 or 5 foot high. And Clark's a big goalkeeper and a decent shot stopper, and he's no far off his line. But it doesn't beat the goalkeeper's gloves by inches. It sails over him. It's an absolute perler in a goal arc. Just 25 yards or so, 25, 26 yards. Bit of pace, bit of dip. Oh, what a goal.
It's the way these guys hit the ball these days, man. I see when we all grew up playing football, they've done that. We had Albert's, right, who just put your laces through it. Nowadays, they're hitting them with the instep, and the balls are moving and dipping, and it was some shun. I mean, Big Xander's quick like to pick the ball at the net there. He wasn't quick at doing anything else until that happened. So that was a bit of a changer for them. They started to move the ball quicker then, St Johnstone.
I thought you were on a roller coaster for a minute there. Just arms gone everywhere. As far as the game's concerned, I was quite happy. We got the result. It wasn't a great performance. But what a week we've got coming up. I know we're at 33 minutes. We're not going to be much longer. I just really want to touch on the week that's coming up for the full club. But let's start with the first team. Lyon at home, Europa League fixture, John, and Flag Day next Sunday. How could we forget?
Yep, exactly. I think Lyon at home, they're missing a couple of players. I know they've got 3 players that are coming or not being allowed to come. So that might put a little bit if we're not get Helander. Might balance a few things up, but Thursday night under the lights at Ibrox, I just need to try and get away from Oban in time. If I'm up in Oban on Thursday, I'll be like, oh God. But I'm looking forward to it. But just who we going to play centre half? You know, that's my worry. Who our centre half's going to be on Thursday night?
Yeah, I think up until the team come out, that's going to be the question in everybody's lips, JD.
I just want to kind of sit and wallow in my own self-pity there, thinking about that. Like, what? It's so annoying. I'm hoping that this is maybe just a wee tweak for Helander. It's nothing. Maybe a bit of ice and a bit of rest. It might be fine, but it doesn't sound like that. So hopefully Golson's back. We're fine. So I'm just going to keep going with that. But that
Goldson will be back.
Goldson will be back.
Yeah, I think so.
not just the first team, massive game for the rest of the club this week for the rest of the club. The women's team start their league campaign tomorrow, so good luck to them. Yeah. I think they're away to Hamilton, then they get Spartans next week, so good luck to them. And also the B team have got a huge week. They're currently 1-0 up against Bonnyrigg Rose, away to Bonnyrigg Rose. That's a top of the table clash. That's first versus second. So that would be a huge result. They've also got a massive game. I'm sure everybody knows about it, but I'm going to put the plug out anyway because I've been going to watch the B team and I've been loving every minute of it. The SBFL Trust Trophy, which used to be the Challenge Cup, the Ayr United senior team, the championship side, visit Dumbarton on Tuesday night to play the Rangers B team in the second round. It's a tenner a ticket, 7:30 kick-off. I really encourage anybody that can, get along, support the B team. It's a massive game. They're essentially playing a team 3-4 divisions above them. That's how big it is. So get along, give them your support. Is the B team game on RTV? CGM 55. I don't actually know. I would imagine it would be because it is such a massive game. I
fancy them for that game. I fancy them for that game, Alan. I do. Yeah. Did they not? Yep. They're not bottom of that league or stuff for a really bad start or something? Was Jim Duffy sacked or something? Was Jim Duffy?
They've started terribly. I can't remember who their manager was, but he did leave during the week. So it's a winnable game. Already beat Dumbarton. Rangers. I think Rangers were drawn as the home team right enough, but already put Dumbarton out of that cup. So there's, if you can get along Tuesday night, Dumbarton, 7:30 kick-off, £10 a ticket, get along. There will be people there for the Rangers rabble. I know I'll be there, I know Willie Irwin will be there. So if you see us, come up and say hello, ask us some questions. Willie's he's the guru on David Hopkins gone rogue, resigned, that's who it was. If you see us, if it's your first time at B team games, come up and ask us questions. I'll put them all to Willie because he's the guru. He knows tons more than I do. I'll leave it ever pretend to do. But come and see us. So massive week for the full club. Good luck to everybody involved. Yeah. That is us. That is us for this afternoon's. I was going to say youth update there. It's not the youth update. You went away in the youth update there. That's us for the. Lost my place. That's us for the match reaction. Got there eventually. It's a shame this is live. I could have edited that. Thanks for joining us in the comments. Like I said, catch us on social media: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Come and check out our Patreon stuff. But thank you for continuing.
Check out our website
and the website as well. Loads of content there.
Great articles.
JD's wrote a couple of great articles. There's other great articles from other writers. I need to get back at it. I've not wrote something for a while. I need to get back at it. But thanks for supporting the Rangers Rabble podcast, and we will see you all again soon. And I always forget to pull up the video. Good afternoon, folks.